Good morning. It is 6:36 a.m. Yeah, that's working. 6:36 a.m. on Wednesday, March 22nd, 2017. I'm Christiana Ellis and I just got up. This is 5 more minutes. So, schedule went partly as I expected yesterday. I actually didn't the game thing that I was potentially going to do got canceled by other parties, and so I didn't end up doing that. But I used the extra time to get further on my day job project that I was working on. I also, while I was working on that, I often have, stuff going in the background or whatever. And so part of what I had going in the background last night was getting caught up on the Monster Factory series of YouTube videos. And that inspired me to just think I need to do a video where I just talk about my appreciation for the McElroy Brothers series of entertainment products. Luna, settle down. I'm also fidgeting with a little piece of gluey stuff on a plastic thing here, which I'm going to stop doing now. So, who are the McElroy brothers? Well, Justin, Griffin, and Travis McElroy, in no particular order, are three guys who, as previously mentioned, are brothers, and they all do various podcasts and videos and such. I became familiar first with Griffin through some of his videos that he does on the Polygon.com video game website. But he and Justin both, produce content over there. And then I gradually became aware of their wider universe, so to speak. So, what kind of stuff do they do? Well, mostly they do silly stuff, and I appreciate that. But let me just talk, instead of trying to do the Wikipedia entry for them or something, let me just talk about the products, entertainment products that I enjoy from them. First and foremost, Monster Factory, which I mentioned. This is a series of videos done by Griffin and Justin, where they basically take video games that have character creators and work hard to make like the ugliest characters they can think of, and then just essentially run around trying to break the game and laughing at each other's jokes while they do. And it sounds very simple, and yet I have laughed harder at some of those videos than anything I can think of in a long time. They're just it is two people having joy, finding joy in video games by playing them in non-traditional ways, but ways that are nonetheless available to them. And it's great stuff. And they're just very fun with each other. Just doing silly voices for these ugly characters that they make and so on. And it's a lot of fun. Another video series that's also available on so Monster Factory is available on the Polygon YouTube channel, and another series that's also available is Carboys, which is done by Griffin McElroy and then another person from Polygon, Nick Robinson, where they're basically just playing this one game called beam.ng.drive, I think is beamng.drive or something like that, where it's essentially just a kind of a car damage simulator sort of thing. It's a very sandboxy, unfinished sort of game where you can just spawn in different car models and drive them around and, into stuff, and it models the crashes in a semi-realistic way. And again, it's something that you wouldn't necessarily think would make for hours of entertainment, and yet Griffin and Nick, as they just find different and fun ways to try to top themselves in terms of interesting things to crash into one another, and the little story mythos that they build up around everything, it's enormously entertaining. And like many of their products, they build sort of a mythos around it, and it's just glorious. Uh, the Griffin and Nick also do an audio podcast called Cool Games Inc., where essentially they pitch goofy video game ideas to each other and then try to develop them into like what would a full-fledged game be about. um, I don't know. I'm not. None of these specific ideas are coming to mind, but they'll get ideas off of Twitter or something, and it'll be like, um, you know, what if trucks were alive and see, the thing is, there's often so surreal that I can't just pull one out of thin air like this at the moment. Boy, this is already, I'm already running longer than I kind of expected to. So, Monster Factory, Cool Games Inc., Carboys, uh, the then the Adventure Zone, which is a game where all three brothers, uh, Justin, Travis, and Griffin, plus their dad, Clint, are all playing Dungeons and Dragons, and they're playing a pretty rules light version of the game. They don't take it terribly seriously, and especially towards the beginning of the show, it's all very silly and goofy and not taken very seriously at all. But they lay that as a foundation, and it's surprisingly solid when they start wanting to build a longer term story onto it, and it's really a joy of discovery every other week when they put out a new episode. And then last but not least, there is the podcast My Brother and Me, where it is the three brothers having sort of a surrealistic advice show where mostly they just find, like internet requests for advice and they give their own sort of funny answers. But it's just these are three very funny guys, and just them enjoying each other's company and being silly together is a joy to listen to. And then recently on CISO.com, they put out 6 episodes of a TV show version of My Brother and Me, which is also joyous. So I recommend any and all of those products, and I know that they actually, the various brothers have other podcasts and videos and stuff that I have not yet gotten into, but I've already run longer than my 5 minutes requires. So I'm going to leave it here, but McElroy brother content, get on it. And I'll talk to you tomorrow for 5 more minutes.